Hello, students of Retail Services. Welcome to a class of Conversational English. The topic for today's class is Communicating with Guests with Industry Terminology, where the focus is on history and government. Dear students, in our previous class, we already studied few terms associated with history and government. In this class also, we will continue with the same topic and finish off the remaining terms and terminologies which are associated with our history and government. Dear students, like our previous class, the lesson objective for today's class is at the end of this class, you should be able to explain the industry terminologies, vocabulary and phrases that are commonly used in English language while discussing about history and government. So students, please take out your conversational English textbook from the second semester and refer to the third unit. Dear students, the first term for today's class is communism. Students, you had already heard this term communism before. So communism is a theory or system of social organization in which all property is owned by the community and each person contributes and receives according to their ability and needs. So students, in a communist form of society or government, all the property of the country belongs to the state, or that is to the country, and there is no provision for individual property. So everything is controlled by the government and belongs to the country. In this world, we have communist governments in China and Cuba. In India also we have Communist Party of India, and they follow this ideology of communism. In India, currently communist governments are present in this state of Kerala. Before, communist governments were present in West Bengal and Tripura. The next term is continental system. Now, before understanding this term, please look at this image here. This image is of a person known as Napoleon Bonaparte. So he was a French general. I believe all of you have heard his name. So he was a military general of France, and during the old age, he was a very fierce fighter, and at that point of time, France and Great Britain were always at war. So France and Great Britain were always fighting, and they wanted to control different parts of the world. So during that period when Napoleon was ruling France, he issued a number of decrees. Decrees means official orders under which he prohibited the other European countries under his domination to trade with England, that is Great Britain. So during that period, there were several European countries who were under the control of France, and Napoleon was the ruler of France at that time. So during that period, he made some laws. According to those laws, all the countries which were controlled by France were prohibited from having any trade relations with England, that is Great Britain, and this system was known as continental system. Dear students, the next term is Cold War. Cold War was a period of geopolitical tension between Soviet Union and the United States and their respective allies, the Eastern Bloc and the Western Bloc, after World War II. This period is considered to span from 1947 to 1991 till dissolution of Soviet Union. So students, when the World War II ended, United States of America and Russia emerged as two superpowers. So these two countries wanted to control the world after the completion of World War II. So the world was basically divided into two groups. One group known as the Western Bloc, which was led by United States, and the Eastern Bloc was led by Russia. So Russia, with several of its ally countries, formed a country known as Soviet Union. So these two groups were not in direct war with each other, but they always wanted to be stronger than the other. They were always competing over trade or unnecessary resources or any political issue or any issue of global importance. Now this period was known as Cold War. These two blocs were also stocking nuclear arms and other weapons so that in future some war happens, so they want to be prepared. Now this continued till 1991, and in 1991 Soviet Union was broken down into different countries, and then Russia was formed. Now in the present scenario, if you see, there is some kind of Cold War going on between United States and China. So China and USA are not in direct conflict or in direct military conflict, but if you see the press today or the news, whatever is going around, we see that China and USA are always competing with each other, and this is a kind of Cold War. Dear students, the next term is console. Now, console is an official appointed by a state to live in a foreign country and protect the state's citizens and interests there. Now, every country has a consulate office in other countries. For example, we are citizens of India. India has consulate offices in all the countries of the world. Suppose I visit a country, suppose I go to some country, like suppose I visit China. So India has a consulate office in China, and suppose as a citizen of India I have some problem in China, so I can approach the consulate office of India in China for help. So that office is going to assist me with all my troubles there. And so this is the purpose of establishing a consulate office, is to help the citizens of that country in some other country where they may not get sufficient support from the local government. So all the officials who are working in the consulate office are known as consuls. Dear students, the next term is democracy. Democracy is a system of government by the whole population or by all the eligible members of a state, typically elected representatives. So students, you might have heard this word democracy a million times. So in a democratic form of government, the people of the country, they vote and elect some members who in turn form the government. So it is a government by the people, for the people and of the people. In India, we have democratic form of government wherein all the elected representatives form the government and they make the rules for the country. The next term is decolonization. So students, we already have heard the word colonization before, wherein some stronger country used to control other weaker countries. Now decolonization is the action or process of a state withdrawing from a former colony and leaving it independent. Example is India getting independence from Britain in 1947. As we had discussed previously that before World War II, there were some strong countries like Great Britain, France, Portugal. They used to control the weaker countries of Asia and Africa, South America. So after World War II, when United States of America and Russia emerged as two very strong countries, several of these colonies got independence, and this process of giving independence to the colonies is known as decolonization. The next term is dictatorship. Dictatorship is a form of government in which all the power rests in a single individual or the system of one-man rule. So students, please look at this image here. I think you can recognize this person. Yes, he is Kim Jong-un from North Korea. So he is the dictator of North Korea. That is, he has the supreme power in North Korea and he controls the country. So they don't have an elected government there. So it is the rule of a single person. So this is known as dictatorship. Dear students, the next term is fascism. Now fascism is a form of government that is a type of one-party dictatorship. They work for a totalitarian one-party state. This aim is to prepare the nation for armed conflict and to respond to economic difficulties. Fascism puts nation and often race above the individual. Students, please look at this image of the person here. His name is Benito Mussolini. He is from Italy and he introduced this concept of fascism in Italy. So according to this concept of fascism, there can be only one political party in a country. Now let us take the example of India. In India, we have multi-party system. There are different political parties who contest in the election. We have Bharatiya Janata Party, we have Congress, we have Aam Aadmi Party, we have CPI, and there are n number of parties in India who can contest in the election. But imagine a scenario wherein India becomes a fascist country. So if India becomes a fascist country, there can be only one political party. There cannot be more than one. So there will be only one political party, and that party will only rule the country. So this is the concept of fascism, and this concept was first introduced by Benito Mussolini in Italy. The next term is feudalism. Now, feudalism is defined as a medieval European political, economic, and social system from 9th to 15th century. An example of feudalism is someone farming a piece of land for a lord and agreeing to serve under the lord in war in exchange for getting to live on the land and for receiving protection. So students, in the medieval times, that is from 9th to 15th century, the society in Europe was formed on the basis of a feudal society. That is, the society was divided basically into two groups. One was the privileged class, and then the other one was the non-privileged class. The privileged class consisted of the Pope, the Church, the King, the nobles, knights, and vassals. And the non-privileged class included the common people, the merchants, the farmers, the peasants, all other people, the laborers and all. So the privileged class enjoyed all the benefits. They were the owners of the land, they had all the property. And all the non-privileged class used to work for this privileged class. And they did not have any property. The non-privileged class was not allowed to have any property. So they had to work for the privileged class. So this form of society is known as feudal society. Dear students, the next term is imperialism. It is a policy or ideology of extending a country's rule over foreign nations, often by military force or by gaining political and economic control of other areas. Example, British rule in India. So students, imperialism is very much similar to colonization, wherein we have studied before that some stronger countries used to control other weaker countries and used to rule those weaker countries. So imperialism is the same concept of extending a country's rule over other weaker countries by use of military force. The example is British rule in India. The next term is nationalism. Nationalism is an intense feeling of devotion and love for one's own nation. Nurtured to an extreme, it can lead to fanaticism. So fanatism actually is a person who is filled with excessive and single-minded zeal, especially for an extreme religious or political cause. So students, nationalism is basically love for your country. That is, you love your country and you are ready to do even you are ready to sacrifice your life for your country. But nationalism is a very good thing, and we believe that all citizens of each and every country should have a nationalist feeling in them. But if you give importance to nationalism too much, it can turn into fanatism. So fanatism is like you only think or you only love your country, and for your country is good. If you think that this is good for my country, you can even do harm to others. That is for your country's benefit, or if you think that by doing this I can serve my country, you may end up doing something illegal, or you may end up hurting some other people. So this is like extreme nationalism, which is like fanatism. If you look at nationalist movements in India, or rather say nationalist parties in India, so we have an organization known as Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. So now RSS, commonly known as, so that is a nationalist organization. That is, they work for the development of our country. They help the people at the times of need. So they are ready to sacrifice their lives, even their lives, for the betterment of our country. The next term is Nazism. Nazism or National Socialism is a set of political beliefs associated with the Nazi Party of Germany. It aims at aggressive nationalism. So students, I think all of you have heard this word Nazi. So Hitler was the leader of this Nazi party, and they were from Germany. So Nazism, or which is also known as National Socialism, is a kind of nationalism which is very aggressive. So The Nazi party always wanted the betterment of Germany and they did not care about others, the other countries of the world, and which led to World War II. Dear students, the next term is neocolonialism. Neocolonialism is the modern brand of colonialism. It is used to describe the strong control that former colonizing powers continue to hold in the economic, political, and military fields of their ex colonies. So, students, we had already studied what is colonialism, that is, the stronger countries controlling the weaker countries. Then we studied decolonization, wherein the stronger countries gave independence to their colonies. Now, neocolonialism is something wherein even after giving independence to the colonies, the colonizing powers still control those colonies indirectly. They have control over their economy, they have control over their political system, and also defense. Example is French colonies of Mauritania, Senegal, and Sudan. Now, Mauritania, Senegal, Sudan are independent countries now. Previously, they were colonies of France, but even these three countries are independent. They have to depend a lot on France for economical decisions or political decisions or even military decisions. So, this is an example of neocolonialism. The next term is plebiscite. Now, the direct vote of all the members of an electorate or an important public question such as a change in the constitution is known as plebiscite. So, students, plebiscite is basically a kind of voting wherein all the citizens of the country vote together to decide on a very important topic. Suppose a country has to decide on a very important matter, and in that case, they take the opinion of all the citizens of the country, and this is known as plebiscite. One example of plebiscite is in 2011 decision by Greek Prime Minister to let the Greek people vote on whether the heavily indebted nation would accept a 130 billion euros bailout package from European Union. So students, Greece had organized the Olympics in 2004 in Athens. After the Olympics in 2004, the Greek economy was unable to recover and there were some problems in the economy and Greece almost became bankrupt. So in 2011, Greece wanted to take a loan of about 130 billion euros from the European Union. So before taking that loan, the Prime Minister of Greece wanted to take the opinion of all the people of Greece, and for that reason, he had arranged a plebiscite. The next term is republic. Now, republic is a state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives, which has an elected or nominated president rather than a monarch. Example is India. So, students, in India we have a republic, so in democratic form of government, and we are a republic. That is, the head of the state in our country is elected. Then the government also in our country is elected. So it is not the power in India is not like hereditary. So a king doesn't rule India. We are ruled by a democratic government, and we have an elected head of the state, which is our president. He is also an elected member. Now in India, the government or the rule is not hereditary. That is, if I am the president of India, it is not mandatory that my son also will become the president of India. So anyone can become the president of India if he wins the election. So this is known as republic. Dear students, the next term is secularism. Secularism is the policy of showing equal respect to all religions. There is no discrimination on the basis of religion. So students, secularism is the concept wherein people of all religions can live in peace and have the right to practice and preach their religion. Example is India. India is a secular country. We don't have a official religion. Here people from any religion can live, they can practice their religion, and also they have the right to preach their religion. The next term is socialism. Socialism is a political and economic theory of social organization which advocates that the means of production, distribution and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole. So students, socialism is a principle wherein the means of production, that is all the property, all the land, all the industry, everything should be owned by the community as a whole. There is no provision for private property. So all the citizens of the country are owners of everything which is present in that country, and this concept is known as socialism. The next term is syndicalism. Now it is a revolutionary brand of socialism which was popular in France. It regards the trade union organization as the foundation of the new society. It was a movement for transferring the ownership and control of the means of production and distribution to worker unions. So students, we already studied what is socialism. Now syndicalism was a brand of socialism which was started in France. So here what happened was, in socialism the concept was like everything was owned by the community, or that is the people, and there is no provision for private property. In syndicalism, now everything, the power for controlling everything was like tried to be transferred to the workers union. So back then in France, the people who used to work in the industry as farmers or other sectors, they form different unions, and under this principle all the property and power was transferred to these unions. They used to control everything in the country. So this was known as syndicalism. Dear students, the next term is totalitarianism. Now it is a system of government that is centralized and dictatorial and requires complete subservience to the state. Subservience means to obey. Here the state or those who are in power dominates every sphere of individual's life. Example is North Korea under Kim dynasty. Please look at this image here. So this is these two statues are present in North Korea. So under totalitarian government, everything is controlled by the government, that is government or the person who controls the state. So all the people, all the citizens of the country will have to obey whatever the state decides or the government decides, or the person who owns the country decides. They don't have any personal rights, or they cannot oppose to what the government decides. This type of rule is found in North Korea. So in North Korea there is dictatorship, and this is done by North Korea is under a dynasty, that is a family known as the Kim dynasty. So these two persons here are like, so presently Kim Jong-un is the dictator of North Korea. Though these two persons here are his father and grandfather. So their family has been ruling North Korea for generations now. So they have this totalitarian government wherein everything is controlled by them, and all the citizens of the country will have to accept whatever they decide. So students, with this I am completing today's class. I understand these terms which are present here might be a little bit boring, and you may not find it to be very interesting, and you also may not be able to relate these terminologies with your subject, that is retail services, but these terminologies are good to know, and this is going to increase your general knowledge. In future, suppose you take part in any discussion with anyone, or you attend a group discussion, or you attend any seminar or something wherein you get to know hear these terms, you will be able to recognize what the terms mean, and also at certain points of time you can also use these terms to express your feelings or to say what you want to say. So students, please check this video, read the textbook, and do let me know if you have any more questions regarding these terms. I will sign off here. I will see you again later with another class. Thank you for seeing this video. Have a great time.